The universe is 13.8 billion years old. From a human perspective, that's an insanely long time due to the fact that the lifespan of a normal human being is 70 to 80 odd years. However, these two time factors are merely a very tiny speck of the amount of time remaining in this cosmos. This is the E-Space, and today I'm talking about the end of the universe. But first, I want to talk a little about the start, too. As mentioned in the intro, the universe is about 13.8 billion years old. That long ago is where the universe began with the Big Bang. Now, fast forward all that time later, and you've got the four fundamental forces of nature, a bunch of gas balls and deep protrusions of space-time with some rocks and other gaseous balls orbiting them, moving around in systems of incomprehensibly large galaxies. Now is where we start talking about the future. It's pretty spooky, isn't it? The future is the reason we have anxiety, both in the astronomical and literal psychological sense of the word. Something that bugs me is that I'll never really be able to see some of the spectacular events that are theorized to happen in the future, such as the collision of our neighboring Andromeda galaxy with the Milky Way. But let's not get ahead of ourselves and go from the present onwards. In about 1 billion years, the Sun will have exhausted quite a lot of its fuel source coming from its core, meaning it will decrease in density and expand in size, becoming a red giant. In about 3 more billion years, the Sun will have completely run out of energy, and it will explode and become a very tiny, very dense white dwarf about the size of Earth. At about the same time, the Andromeda galaxy and the Milky Way will collide, and after a very long dance around each other, they will form the very originally named Milkomeda galaxy. Eventually, due to the rapid expansion of the universe and dark matter, every single object visible to us right now in the observable universe will have probably gone so far away that we won't even be able to see them anymore. This is due to gravitationally unbound objects move away from each other, due to the aforementioned dark matter and dark energy, which constitutes about 90% of the mass in the entire universe. Even further on into the future, eventually all the stars in the universe will eventually die and form new stars. However, like everything, this cycle cannot be infinite. Eventually, due to the expansion of the universe, even galaxies will start to spread apart from themselves, causing the formation of new stars through non-collision completely impossible. After this happens, it's probable that the only thing remaining available in the cosmos will be black holes, neutron stars, and rogue planets, and thus the so-called black hole era of the universe will begin. If we say, for the sake of probability, that protons don't decay, which they seemingly don't as suggested by the current standard model of physics, eventually all remaining matter except for black holes will decay themselves into subatomic particles, which will float around until being consumed by a black hole, which at this point will probably be billions of trillions of times the mass of our sun, with some probably reaching the size of entire galaxies from the present. But even these cosmic behemoths will eventually evaporate due to the recently discovered Hawking radiation emitted by them, obviously found by the recently deceased Stephen Hawking. Rest in peace, you absolute legend. Which causes them to very slowly begin to lose their mass once they can't find anything to devour anymore. Eventually, the universe will be reduced to nothing but complete eternal darkness with absolute void everywhere and nothing roaming around anymore. Nothing will ever happen ever again. Never. But that would be pretty boring, wouldn't it? According to theories, at that point in time, anything that doesn't have a non-zero probability of happening will eventually happen. This means that if something has a 0 point, let's say, a billion zeros behind it, and a single 1 at the end, probability of happening, it will happen. I mention this because, as it stands, we believe that because of this theory and also quantum fluctuations, in about 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 76 years from now, a new Big Bang will form out of absolute nothingness. There's not enough storage space in the entire goddamn planet to be able to withhold this number. Not even close. This is also believed to be an endless cycle, which never really started and will never end. I know, infinity sucks. This has been the E-Space, and I'll see you next time.